How are you keeping? How's life? How's things? How do you feel at this present time with everything that's going on? The world is in turmoil. Everything around us is just not working. Nothing's the same. How are you coping? How's life? It's just a bit of a higgly jiggly at the moment, you know. But let's just keep our chin up and keep going. Hi there, welcome to my channel again. It's your girl Diane. How are you doing? Nice to be here with you again. It's autumn, it's cold, but it's very sunny here in Sheffield today. I'm glad. How are you keeping? How's things? I've been thinking about everything that's going on at the moment. The world's in chaos, the governments are in chaos, famines, everything's happening, and it's worrying times. It's hard for us to really focus, on our everyday life with everything that's happening. You go in the supermarkets this week and next week you go again, and the prices have gone up, but we must go on. That's just what is. We must go on. We've got to try and keep our minds positive, keep our minds focused. Just try keep focused. Just try not to think about the everyday things. Don't think about it. Just keep focused. Don't worry. The moment you start worrying, you're going to get sick, and then it's just going to be worse. So let's just try and keep our minds focus and keep positive and do things that stimulates our mental health, because it's perilous and turmoil times are coming. I remember growing up in the West Indies, and I'm just gonna touch a bit on things we were taught or things we learned when we grew up. If you're not someone who's biblical or religious, you don't have to listen to this, but if you hear me out, you can hear me out as well, whether it's scientists, if you think it's scientific or whatever. Yes, we all have our own beliefs, but this is what I was taught when I was growing up. And as people who were grown with that belief, you still look at that, and when you see these things happen, it takes you back to these things. And sometimes these teachings is what cause us to be able to push forward even when things are in turmoil. I remember when I was growing up and we would go to Sunday school, we would go to church, because that's all we knew. Most of us growing up in the West Indies, we knew church, and there are two scriptures I can remember in the Bible we were taught a lot about in the last days, in the latter days, and it's in Matthew 24 and 2 Timothy 3. Those two verses, and I've always kept them in my mind. I've always kept them close to me, because as times change, you see these things fulfilling. And in these two scriptures, it just talk about these end times, how things are going to get hard. It talk about famine. They talk about pestilence, which we've got the pandemic that we can't get rid of. No matter what we do, it just keep coming back. We've got so many other illnesses. It talk about famine. It talk about earthquake. It talk about things happening that we've never seen before. It speaks about men loving themselves more than loving everyone. It's like, and it's true if you look at it, if you don't step on someone's toes, because you might end up dying, and it's things like that. It talks about people are loving themselves. No one accepts your apology. Even if you say, I'm sorry, they can still come after you and kill you. It's trying times. It's so hard. It's so difficult. But for me, because I was grown and told these things, that these days will come and you must take heart, and still try to be strong in them. Just look after yourself. Just stay safe. If you don't need to be somewhere, don't go. If you don't need to argue with someone, don't do it. No matter how much you think or you're right, just try not to do it, because you might lose your life in it. And if we look at the youngsters, they talk about, the youngsters getting disobedient, and what's happening now, they're so disobedient, they're destroying each other, and it's very You know, it's hard, it's heartbreaking sometimes when I look at the news and see how things are going, you know, and I would like to just encourage youngsters, find a way to take someone's apology. If someone say they're sorry, just take it and leave it. You don't need to take someone else's life. It's hard for that family, it's hard for that parent. And you know, if that happens to you, it will be hard for your parent and your family too. So, you know, let's just be good and be kind to each other. Be there for each other. Check on each other every day and say, not how are you, how are you keeping? Are you keeping okay? Because how are you? I'm okay. But the question is, how are you keeping? When you ask how are you keeping means, are you all right mentally? How are you keeping? You know, let's be there for each other as much as we can. It's hardship, it's hard time for all of us, but you know, a kind word, a smile to someone else, it means a lot to them. So you know, let's just think and let's look at these times and not think, oh, if we change government or if we change world leaders and all of that, it will be better. It will not be better. For me, from a biblical point of view, from a biblical perspective, it won't be better. It says in the last days, in the latter days, and these things are going to happen. These things are here to stay. How many prime ministers have we changed over the period of time? We've changed so much, you know, and it is just what it is. Cost of living is getting higher. There's nothing, no matter who we put in power, there's nothing they can do, because it is just the times we're in. And all we've got to do is just try to not squander what we've got, not waste it, you know, just look after what we've got. You know, if you make some dinner today and it's too much, put it in the fridge or in the freezer. And another day, you can go back to it. Don't bin it, because we can't afford to do that these days. You know, if it's too much, don't just leave it there and bin it and then think, oh no, I don't want that again. Put it in the freezer. The same way you go out and buy frozen food, the same way you go out and buy takeaway, that's your own food. You made it. Put it in the freezer. Take it out another day and have it. It is hard times, it's trying times. So let us look after ourselves, guard ourselves, you know, and just take care of ourselves and be there for each other. Until next time, I hope I've encouraged you a lot. Don't get bogged down about these last days, because they are bound to happen. Just remain positive. When you go shopping, buy the necessary bits and make sure you're not hungry. Make sure you're not cold, and just look after yourself and you will be all right. Don't worry about everything that's happening. Just say it is going to happen and carry on, or else you will lose your mental state. So till next time, you take care, look after yourself. Love you all. Remember to subscribe, like and share, and until next time, take care. Bye.